is the Riot Podcast. Hi, friends.
So we apologize for the last couple of days of a slightly weird Obi for the podcast intro, but hopefully all better now. And then he returns to the studio on Monday. He'll be all done with his COVID quarantine.
I return to the studio, Lord willin, and the creek don't rise.
We don't want anything to happen over this weekend. So I know it's better sometimes if we don't say anything, because in that way, if something does come up, we're not disappointed. But it really should be him returning on Monday.
Early on, like a couple weeks ago, I was like, I'm sending emails. I'm coming back tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow.
You've been gone. You've been gone 2.5 weeks. Like it's been a while, but you have to for everybody's safety and for yours. You've just been sick.
Yeah, I mean, it just is what it is. I was one of the lucky ones. So we hopefully we'll be back to normal on Monday, one way or the other. Even if for some reason I'm not back on Monday. Now, let's not. No,
don't even say it. Don't even say it.
I'm not gonna say it. I'll see you guys in the studio Monday.
Let's just talk about what you can expect on this podcast that Obi is doing for the last time from his basement.
So we talk about Wendys Breakfast, Starbucks holiday cups. I think symbiotic relationship that could exist between the childcare and porch piracy industries. A lot of people aren't talking about this, but I think they could. We talk game consoles launching next week and where you won't be able to buy them, which is everywhere, just to let you know.
I feel really bad telling this news in case someone was really excited, like that was their plan of action for next week to try to get the new Xbox or PlayStation, because it's a damper on what maybe your plans were, but you'll have to still prepare and find out.
She ain't lying. Let's see. We've got Nikki's old coffee.
Oh, yeah, that was. Yeah, it's still
that's
here.
That's a big part of the
I drank
the thing.
I drank half of it, so we'll see what happens today.
We talk about people finally saying something on social media. My thoughts on COVID, cooking chicken in the hot springs, and a winding discussion about bandwidth, iPhone 12s, and COVID-19s.
It's everything in this podcast, everything you love.
Yeah. So you guys will obviously going to get what you need. And thank you guys for hanging with us over the last couple of weeks. And we look forward to being more quasi-normal on Monday.
Have a great weekend.
Bye.
The definition of insanity is putting the riot on again and again and expecting a better result. It's the worst of the riot on RadioU.
Nikki and I are feeling really good about something that is happening in the restaurant world. I don't know if you've been with the show long enough to know, but we have been in a long-term love affair, not the short-term nonsense that so many people. I'm talking about a committed relationship with the Wendys breakfast items.
Man, you don't know, like they were back in the day. It was around for not too long, but we supported it then, and then it came back. What was it, earlier, like in March, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it returned to
it was
every
right
place
around the time of quarantine, and we got really afraid because we were like, no, you're launching breakfast at the worst possible time.
Because you didn't understand, like it's this chicken biscuit sandwich that they have, which is, it's honey butter. It's amazing. They changed the breakfast potato things. Maybe I liked the ones in the beginning better, but these are still good, and it doesn't matter because they're still the honey biscuit. So we eat that one the most.
Yeah. We do. The other thing I will throw out, though, they did an app promotion a few weeks ago where it was like you could get the breakfast Baconator for $1.
Yeah.
That's something.
That'll do, like too.
I'll just tell you, I couldn't tell you right now everything that's on it, but I can tell you that when I ate it, the first bite was like, whoa, wait. And I still felt that way when it was over. I was like reaching for more. So good.
Well, in the quarantine time, breakfast really changed for a lot of places. The biggest probably being like, say, McDonald's for fast food breakfasts, because people were not going to work or going to class, and you weren't out in the morning unless you needed to. You were just starting to eat breakfast at home. And so it really hurt breakfast. No, not that. And it really hurt breakfast sales for a lot of fast food places. And now there's a report on how has it done for Wendys compared to like McDonald's and the others?
Well, they said that Wendys breakfast is actually doing spectacular. spectacular that breakfast is on the rise.
It's keeping it alive.
It has been a huge part of keeping Wendy's
afloat,
profitable. And I just want them to know, yeah, buddy, come on.
So they're saying that it's helping people see Wendy's as a breakfast place, which it did not take off when they first introduced their breakfast years ago. So it looks like, plan on continuing to support the breakfast menu.
Yeah, the one thing I will say is Nikki and I did our part. Like, we took a lot of bands to Wendy's for breakfast. we talked to people. We tried. And it just is what it is. We can't make people like it, but it seems like they had the right thing at the right time. And you know what? I don't have a problem standing behind a quality product, Nikki.
Well, it was sad. We used to like, what were those called? The Belgian waffle. From
White Castle?
Yeah, from White Castle. We cannot talk about the rest of the menu, but they had a really good breakfast sandwich.
It's true.
But the one next to us closed down, and we've just not been back since. So at least we still have Wendy's breakfast.
Sad trombone on that, but we're glad to have them back.
Yay! So that was an interesting article just on your fast food breakfast. For some, it's doing well. For others, still not doing the best.
Yeah! You were one of the lucky few who missed the riot when they were live. Yet here you are.
I also like to live dangerously.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Today, Starbucks is giving away free, kind of, holiday cups.
So it's okay. You know how you want to know the details so you're not sad
okay.
when you go through the line because you thought you heard wrong. You have to order a holiday beverage because those are now out, so they're promoting those. If you order a holiday beverage of any size, you could get, while supplies last, and they say quantities are limited, one of the red collectible holiday cups. So it's not like there's, just random whichever one you're getting. They're only offering the one cup.
This is another great example of how people are going to be climbing all over themselves
to get one,
trying desperately to get the limited edition thing.
Well, and it's
no matter how early you go today, you're not getting it.
It does make you worried whenever people are like, yeah, it's very limited. And so you just wonder if they're saying that just so that you can't say anything if you roll up and you're not early enough and they're gone by then.
Man, these things were gone. There are people that work there that are selling them on eBay. That's what's happening right now. This is not real. So have they gone back to just the straight red cup for the holidays yet?
These are the reusable ones. So these have different designs, but I'm not sure like the actual non-reusable one, a normal cup. I'm not sure what that one looks like for this year.
Well, I ask because I remember, every year there's controversy over how Starbucks is trying to, eliminate something war on Christmas with their holiday cups. And the fact that we have to call them a holiday cup right there.
Well, it looks like back even yesterday. Are those the paper cups then? There's 4 paper cups that feature traditional red and green colors that reflect the holidays. The theme for this year, Obadiah, is called Carry the Merry. Last year's theme was Merry Coffee, so this one's different.
Carry the Merry?
Yeah, and so those are the designs. Yeah, there's 4 of them for the paper cups.
Okay, well, whatever.
And it looks like then there's the one collectible cup that's the reusable one, and that's why they're doing that today, because those are out.
Well, I'll tell you, Nikki, I would say I'd get blasé about it and be like, I don't care about Starbucks, but thanks to Erin in Mount Vernon and the package she sent me, I am drinking Starbucks coffee this morning.
It's weird you like the pumpkin spice one. It's very odd. You normally wouldn't pick that one up, but you love it.
I agree. It's weird that I liked it, and yet I do, and here I am drinking it. So Starbucks, listen, they say that you could, if you bought a holiday drink, get a free promotional Starbucks cup today, but I just want you to know that they're gone and you can't, so forget it.
Just depends on your area and how fast people roll through your Starbucks, so I'm sure you can still find it somewhere.
I just want you to be ready to be disappointed, so if you do find one, wow, how exciting.
Great, you managed one. You did good. You did good.
This is Radio U's Worst of the Riot.
You know, Nikki, even healthcare, not healthcare. What am I thinking about? Childcare is hard. You know, you find yourself in a position where you've got to work, but then there's this kid around. Your parents did it. How are you going to do it? And if you think for a minute that just because you're a porch pirate, your concerns about childcare are suddenly out the window, I'm afraid you're wrong.
Oh, my gosh. You're talking like when people steal the packages and you see like the video of them and they're just carrying their kid around.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, why are you doing that? Why are they along for this ride to steal stuff for you?
It's so funny. It's this dude while I'm watching this video, walking along with this baby, and it looks like he's kind of like playing with the baby, talking to the baby, but people say that's just a smoke screen. And so he takes the package. Then a neighbor starts yelling at him, and he's like, oh, whoops, my bad. I didn't mean to do that, and throws the package back.
Yeah.
And just goes back to walking around with the baby.
So that's bad. I mean, he's using his kid. I assume it's his kid. He's using his kid to draw, like, to make it look like he's more normal for walking around. Because you'll notice a person just walking around by themselves. If it doesn't look like they're working out, you would notice, be like, hey, what's this guy doing? But if he's walking with a baby, you're like, oh, he's just out walking with his kid.
That baby needs a walk. Gotta walk the baby.
It's walking time. That's so shady. Someone would do that. Not surprised, but shady.
It is, but I want you to know that just in the course of this conversation, Nikki, I have arrived at a mutually beneficial solution. You're trying to find somebody to watch the baby. Okay, you can't take them to work all the time. There are porch pirates out there looking for legitimacy. They run a childcare service in which they're willing to watch your kid on the cheap as long as you're willing to consent to the fact that your child's going to be involved in a robbery.
So Scott just texted in at 8772 RadioU, and he proposes a good question here. Did he steal the baby from a porch as well? You've got to make sure is that actually his baby. You got to check these things out.
I hope not. Well, maybe it's a pilot program, like I said, for this whole thing of they watch the kid at a discount, and then they're able to get their
thing.
Yeah.
The Riot really wanted to do this live, but now they can play video games and eat rice cakes instead. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
So next week, we get a brand new Xbox and we get a brand new PlayStation. So you get the
Is the Xbox on Tuesday?
The Xbox is Tuesday, and there are technically two of them. There's the Xbox Series S, which is a smaller white console. Then you have the Xbox Series X, which is the big one. It's black, it's a brick, and it's their like higher end console. And then on Thursday next week, November 12th, you get the PlayStation 5. And of course, they have their one that has a disc and one that does not have the disc. So the news about these is that there were announcements made last night that kind of blow my mind. Mm-hmm. They're not going to be available in stores.
Oh, well, that's interesting. Well, that's good to hear, isn't it? It's good to plan because some people would probably go to the store to try to buy it. Our bad.
I feel what you feel, Nikki.
I didn't even want to go get one, but traditionally you put it in a store.
Right. So, okay. What's the real reason? We don't know. They say the reason is they don't want to be responsible for causing.
That is not it. They're not saying that. That is not it.
That
means they don't have enough product. That's exactly it. They do not have enough because of COVID, they probably have not been able to manufacture enough to send them out. That would be probably why.
Well, I can tell you that I agree with you. But the official word is that they're not going to be in stores because they don't want to be responsible for causing lineups at stores to get the product.
No, this is called Microsoft and Sony should have put their pride down, just made these releases next year when they actually have some games come out. But instead, no one wanted to... call chicken or whatever and move and veer off. And so they want to come out with it.
didn't want to miss the holiday season. But the other side of that is, like, if you're hoping your grandma's going to get you an Xbox, it ain't happening because, like, she's not going to be able to go down to Walmart and pick one up.
Well, she will get you one. She's just going to get you the wrong one.
She's
going to go to the store like a lot of people would have since the online pre-orders were gone so long ago.
So here's what they're saying that, like, for example, the Xboxes, Walmart says to be ready at noon on Tuesday to order them online.
No one's going to get anything, guys.
That's going to be bot central. Can I just tell you, as someone I have tried this year so many times to buy something online at launch. Nope. Nope. It has never worked for me.
You cannot be faster than a bot who's buying them up to then resell them for a greater price. So then you have to be the person who really wanted one, and then you have to go pay more than you should have because they don't control bot buying.
Yeah. So Sony was the first one to come out and say this. And then yesterday, Microsoft followed it up. But Microsoft's announcement, as I understand it, hasn't come from them saying that. It has been the retailers that have said, we're not going to sell these in stores.
Now, I think possibly, they haven't said they're not going to have it in stores like forever. So maybe closer to Thanksgiving or closer to Christmas, then they'll do a run in stores.
Yeah, my guess is, at some point, you're going to be able to buy this in a store. But for launch day, they're like, no, you can buy it online, a.k.a. you're not getting one. I just wanted to let you know, if your plan was that you were going to go and camp out and be there when they opened, and that's how you'll get one because you couldn't get an online pre-order because it's so hard to get things online. No, they're just like, we had such a good time screwing up the pre-orders. We're going to do the actual orders the same way.
We're going to mess you up in person. So I'm sorry for the bearer of bad news for that. But maybe, just maybe you'll get one online if you try really hard and you're really fast. Just put it in the cart real fast.
You have to believe. Ask Santa and believe.
Or find a friend who knows how to do bot buying and get in on that. So that's the only way to win.
The real answer, Nikki, is that you can have whatever you want if you don't want anything.
Oh gosh, that is something, isn't it? That's deep, very deep.
That's how you win.
And this is when you
go whatever you want when you don't want anything.
This is when you start telling everybody that you didn't want one anyways.
Didn't even want it.
When deep down you know that's not true. I'm sorry, everybody.
Video games suck. They're for kids anyway.
It's fine. You're too busy anyways.
Seriously. I just figured I'd get a second job.
You've been saving all this money up and you can't even spend it on it.
It's true. We have reached the point where I now have saved enough that I have more than enough money. That's how much money I've saved, which is amazing because I don't know why I've managed to save so much money, but I have. And I know you're like, put it in a CD, put it in the mutual fund. And I'm like, I want to put it in a Sony, but they won't let me.
They won't sell me one.
Maybe the Riot would sound better if they spent less time improving their lives at their gym. That was sarcasm. It's the Riot on Radio U.
I said that we had to discuss something that was going on with Nikki, and everybody get your phones out and get ready to text that number because Nikki came in and she just told me she has coffee this morning, and it's like, oh, wow,
Yay!
Great. And no one's there to make Nikki coffee.
And I haven't bothered, nor do I want to learn. I don't want to learn how to make the coffee here. I just don't. It's a statement. That's my last stand.
I know. I understand it because Nikki has had to learn to basically do everything. And look at how smart she is. What an adaptable, like, wow.
Mm-hmm. And we do it with a good heart, but I just don't want to do the coffee. I do not want to do that. Everybody's so opinionated, and I don't want to do it wrong.
And the thing that's really funny is that, one, the people that are opinionated are gone now. And two, it's of all the things you've had to learn how to do.
I'm sure it's fine.
That is the easiest.
I know. I don't drink enough either. Like I got some new creamers right before Obi. He got, sick with sinus infection and then COVID. So he's been out, like he's at home, whereas I'm the only one in the building during most of the morning show hours. And I just, for some reason, can't get past this coffee thing and don't want to make it on my own. But I had all the creamers in there and they're just sitting there, not being used.
I just want to say, if those of you are like, wait, she's there alone. Well, it's her and Liza, her automatic rifle. So
you can't come in, guys. You still
Don't
can't
worry
stop
about
on
it.
by. We're fine.
Yeah. So Nikki goes in and finds coffee this morning. Wow.
Yay!
Wow.
There was some in the pot. It was like a morning miracle, but I know that it was probably Hudson's doing or someone in the afternoon or evening made it. So is it okay that it's old coffee? It doesn't go bad in the coffee pot, does it?
I'm not going to answer this question for you yet. Okay. And we're certainly not going to get Jared Mark
Judgy?
on the show. He's Judgy Jared.
I don't want anybody judging, okay? I'm just having a little.
I would like to ask you, fellow coffee drinkers of the world, Nikki has found 12-hour-old coffee that's been sitting in a drip coffee maker.
It might be older than 12 hours if Chris made it in the afternoon. But yeah, let's just say 12 hours.
Let's go with 12. I'm comfortable with that. Do you guys think that Nikki should drink this 12-hour-old coffee? 877-2-RADIO-U.
I just want to know, will it make me sick to my stomach or will it be fine?
Nikki, I want to give other people the chance to sound off, and then I actually have an answer for you.
You do? Okay, because if not, if there's any doctors in the audience who'll be like, well, please don't. It's a little long. Does it spoil?
What you don't know is COVID-20 grows in old coffee.
Oh, no, I don't want that. And no one, maybe we should make once we, check in with you guys and your thoughts and concerns about this, maybe we can make a company memo and just let everybody know if you have leftover coffee, toss it in the fridge. So then that way, the next day, we could still have it.
If you missed out on the next Riot moment when it originally aired, you don't know how lucky you are. You're listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Remember that we're talking about Nikki's health.
It's my well-being.
Her well-being. Nikki has found coffee in the break room that is, let's say, 12 hours old.
If I had to guess, it was probably Hudson sometime during his show, and he's on afternoons on RadioU. I think it'd probably be him who made it yesterday.
So, Nikki wanted to know if she could go ahead and drink that coffee. And I said, rather than having me answer, which of course I have one, we would ask all of you. So let's start hitting these text messages.
Well, let
Nikki?
me tell you first how I've prepared it. I did not heat it up. I just poured it into a cup with some ice and some creamer. A lot of creamer. So that's
a lot of creamer.
It's not heated up. It's not warm. It's like that.
Okay, Ashley says, yes, girl, heat that up and drink it. Don't waste coffee.
Okay, good. All right. I'll be fine.
Rachel says, no. Zach says, ooh, drink it. Drink it on air.
Let's not make it weird, guys.
Okay, all right. Chuck says, you're good to drink.
Okay.
Randall says, boil it in the microwave. Aaron says, no.
Why are you guys doing all the no's?
Well, they want to make sure that you know.
That stands out with extra O's.
Andy says, Nikki, I've drank a lot of day-old coffee. It's fine. I usually brew a whole pot, drink it for a few days from the fridge.
Oh, great. But this was not refrigerated, so.
Okay.
So make sure, will it make me sick or not?
Tim said, absolutely not. The acid content is too high. Katie
I hear
says,
a dare. Don't you know I have that defiance disorder where if you tell me not to, I suddenly want to?
Katie says, I'd maybe not do it, Nikki. It sounds like a breeding ground for bacteria.
Aww.
But, hey, you know what, though? I have a virus. That's what you have to be afraid of. Bacteria, take some penicillin, amoxicillin, you'll be fine.
It's fine. I'll take some, probiotics?
Right.
It'll be fine.
Justin says 12 hours old. There might be mosquitoes growing in it by now.
Could be. It was kind of thick, honestly.
Man, some of these responses are great. Nick says 100% will drink as long as it's not more than a day old. It helps build immunity.
See, that's good. That keeps you healthy.
Stacy sent us a gif of Buddy the Elf screaming no. Jason says, I personally wouldn't drink it, but if it's been hot, it should be fine. Hannah says, Nikki, no, we love you too much to let you die from drinking old coffee.
That's not how I'm going to go.
I don't have...
That's not it.
I don't have a name here, but somebody texted in and said, you make baristas cry.
Oh, no, you know what? It's Friday, guys. It's early. We're all tired from the week. I just want to have some creamer, and I can't just drink it straight from the bottle. So I was excited just to put some coffee in it, even if it's old coffee.
Lucy says best to heat it up first before mixing it in everything. Too late now.
Too late. I already made the cup. So will I die or not, or will I be just fine? It's not that
sounds like
old.
It sounds like you're probably not going to die, but I don't think people would call it living.
Do I get heart palpitations or like a sick stomach or anything, or I should be good?
You were going to have those things anyway. Might as well have some coffee.
True. I don't stress manage well, so. All right, well, I'm going to...
I will tell you, Nikki, in a minute I'll give you my answer, but I see you're taking a drink.
I was gurgling it.
Yes, spit it on the board. That's good.
What is it with the tastings and stuff? I said swish it and then spit it out. It'll be fine. I just want the essence of it. It's fine.
How was it? It's fine?
There's so much creamer, guys. It's embarrassing. It doesn't matter. I'll be okay. If anything, the creamer will get me.
We would give the Riot flowers to show our appreciation, but Obadiah's probably allergic. What isn't he allergic to? This is the Riot on Radio U.
So we're currently discussing Nikki's undoing and how, in the end, it wasn't all the different things that she had to face in life that took Nikki down.
It was just what I chose to drink this morning. Is that it?
It was just some 12-hour-old coffee, and that's what did her end in the end.
That's not enough time. I feel like, honestly, I don't think it's enough time for anything to really grow or be bad in it. It just might not be the best that I could get. But we're just going to make do with it.
Okay, so here's what I believe I know about old coffee like that. And that is, we had somebody, and I should have written down who it was, but they texted and said, hey, I'll brew coffee, put it in the fridge, and drink it for a couple of days. Coffee left alone does not get more bitter or more acidic. The place that coffee gets more acidic in a drip coffee maker is actually in the grounds themselves.
But not the actual coffee if it's already been run.
Right. But what happens is that over time, little bits of that much more acidic coffee will drip from the grounds into the coffee that's sitting in the coffee maker. And so if after making it, you would have either thrown the grounds away or you would have put it in a cup and set it on the counter or something like that. Coffee doesn't just sit there and become acidic. It's the interaction between the water and the grounds in the drip coffee maker that makes it acidic or more acidic over time.
So I should be fine. I'm fine.
Yeah, you'll probably be fine. But I'm just saying that in the future, like let's say you go past the coffee pot in the afternoon and you're like, I want some of this in the morning. You just pour it in a little cup, put it in the fridge.
Do you think, I don't like confrontation, but do you think someone, if you're listening, guys, could you maybe contact Hudson this afternoon and let him know when he makes his afternoon coffee? Like, can he just, put the stuff away, put some in the fridge?
No, but see, Nikki, the good news here is that I should be back on Monday, so I'll just make you a fresh pot.
I can't trust again.
I know.
I don't know if he'll ever be back. We'll see. Oh, he's been gone because he's been sick, but it's been a while, and I just wanted some of the leftover coffee today.
Hey, listen, you're not the only one that's having trouble trusting, okay? I want to be there.
Just don't know, but Obi should return back. He's at home. He is recuperating from COVID, so he's at the end of his quarantine time, and then on Monday, hopefully should be back in the studio, and then it'll all be good. And I got some food fight treats for us for when he returns, so Monday should be good.
Oh, yeah, because everybody loves Mondays.
Whee! It's going to be fine. It's going to be fun. You have to start someday. You don't want to start any other. You want to start the week off, right?
That's right. Come on.
Worst of the Riot podcast.
We've reached the point where people are starting to start their posts with, I don't say much on here about politics. And at that point, I'm like, Oh, here we go.
Here comes something about politics.
Here it comes. Here.
Again, I guess if it's your page and your stuff and you want to, then I guess that's your thing too.
Hey, you can do whatever you want. Like, I don't care. I might disagree with you. I might unfollow you. I might hide you. I might unfriend you. Who knows?
I think everybody should just snooze everybody for 30 days. It's not a bad thing.
I always get a huge kick out of where somebody, they start these posts like they are this really important voice that has remained silent for too long. And it's finally time for them to come out of retirement. They're like a world championship boxer that has sat by for too long, and it's time for them to take back the title.
So it's time for them to say something political. Is that it?
Yes, they're re-entering the arena, and this time they're going to make a difference with what they're saying. And I love that so much because it's like, look, this just makes you like everybody else. You're not. It's not like the world is suddenly going to change now that your opinion has been expressed on this social media. Like everything we were all holding out, and now it's okay.
I feel really bad because what if someone listening was on Facebook right now being like typing the same thing, and you're like, oh, just delete. Don't say it.
You should delete.
Don't do it.
You know what? Put it in your Google Notes or your Google Keep or whatever and just leave it there. It's
Actually,
fine. But
there is something to that. I know we all feel like you want to get stuff out sometimes. You just have to realize, is it just you in the moment? Will it actually do anything? Will it just make you be upset later when everybody else jumps in on it? So sometimes making a draft of something gets it out for you, and that's all you actually needed. You didn't need to actually post it.
Actually, I'll tell you what, our boss, Michael, he gave me great advice one time. I got a note from someone that made me very angry. I wrote a response to it, and he was like, that's a great response. Why don't you go ahead and hang on to that for a day and then delete it?
That's what you do. It's the best advice.
I was like, but man, that is really good advice, guys. It really is. Get it out. And then a lot of times you'll realize that just like the comment they made might not be worth a lot to you, your response isn't really worth a whole lot either.
But here's just one more last little side note in case you have that thing. Maybe make those in your notes or something, so then that way you're not like, whoops, I posted it, maybe even later accidentally. So just put it somewhere else and you're still getting it out there.
It accidentally got out there. My bad.
You're still feeling better because you got it out of your system, but it doesn't cause more problems for you later on.
Nikki, that's some solid advice there.
Is it healthy eating so many snacks, chips, and Oreos every single morning? No, of course not. But they do it for you.
Too many guys got the stomach for this line of work.
That's real love. It's the Riot on RadioU.
I'm still in the basement at my house, but today should be my last day.
Obi's done with his quarantine for COVID, and then that's it. Like you made it through it.
I'm not just saying this, like I almost came in today. I was just like, man.
You're tired of being home, yeah. Well, you're technically cleared where you could, but I understand you wanting to give it one last day this week and then start Monday.
You know what? It basically comes down to, okay, a lot of people are like, I ain't scared of COVID. It doesn't run my life. You know what? When you actually get COVID and suddenly you are a disease carrier and you come in contact with people who are immunocompromised or they have family members that are immunocompromised or whatever, I hope that you begin to embrace some personal responsibility and realize, hey, I don't want to be the way that this invades your life, because that's the other thing I feel like in the middle of all of this that I've really chafed under some of the rhetoric from people is that, man, like 2 weeks at home sounds like a great time. No, it upends your whole life. Anybody that you live with, it's not just your life that has to change. Their life has to change. And you have to call people and that you've come in contact with to tell them that you have probably given them a virus. And when you're in the middle of doing all of that, I can all but guarantee you some of your hard edge take on the virus will suddenly be like, hey, this is kind of serious. Like, I need to be careful with
serious
this.
and scary. I mean, you don't want to be a part of that.
It really, it will change your perspective in a heartbeat. I mean, not yours, because you're strong and smart and you're not afraid, but weak people like me have their perspective changed very quickly. So I get it. I get it.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Nikki and I like food. We like to eat.
You get hungry, you have to eat. You got to feed your body.
That's right, Nikki. You know what? A lot of times you are what you eat. And they say that chicken is a great source of lean protein. And so, somebody says, hey, I'm eating some chicken. You think, hey, good for you. Good choices. Keep it up.
So this is a hiker. When you're hiking, too, you need some protein.
Where did trail mix come from? People looking for the energy they needed to get that hike on,
So this guy was in Yellowstone at the Shoshone Geyser Basin. And this was on August 7th. And he had to appear then at the Mammoth Hot Springs Court, which is amazing that that's what that's called.
That's right.
It's like, is it at the hot springs? Do you think it's there? On September 10th, because of what he had been doing at the Geyser Basin in August. Would you like to explain what he did?
Guys, he was cooking a chicken.
More than
in the geyser.
He was actually cooking 2 chickens in the hot springs using a burlap sack and cooking pots. He was using those to make his food, which you're not allowed to do.
That's amazing.
He's resourceful, I guess.
That is amazing. I mean, come on. He's cooking chickens in a hot spring. I will say this, that's way too much effort. I mean, you're telling me that I have to drag this chicken and pots and burlap sacks out to the hot springs? I got an oven. It's not the best oven, but whatever.
It'll do. He was there. He's got cited because he was in a thermal area where you're not supposed to be. He was charged with violating the closures and use limits that they have at the basin. So he was there with a group of 10 friends, which they keep pointing out included a child. But I think they're just pointing out the geysers can be very dangerous areas for these thermal springs, the hot springs. They're very dangerous. And they said that when a park ranger got there, he saw the 2 chickens in the burlap bags being cooked in the thermal area. So he's been ordered to pay $600 fine for each chicken, and he's been banned from Yellowstone for 2 years, and then it'll be reviewed again.
You know what? It seems like I guess he got off easy. Though I will say, I could totally see you saying something like, I didn't know.
You asked for forgiveness and not permission.
There are lots of times that people say they don't know and they're full of crap. They're just saying that. But I feel like if you said to me that you didn't know you weren't supposed to cook in the hot spring,
well, though
I can believe that.
He was told, though, not to. Have you ever been to Yellowstone, on the boardwalks where these hot springs are? There's signs everywhere. You're not allowed to leave the boardwalks and the trails. You're not allowed to go into the thermal areas. He did, because you could actually die. People have died in those areas. So he did not listen and pay attention to those signs. So that's what he mostly got in trouble for. The fact that he was cooking chickens. Then he also got the fine for that.
Hey, I'll tell you what, I went to some hot springs in Idaho where you got to just put your swimsuit on and hang out in the hot springs. Oh, that was awesome.
Well, for the thermal areas.
Yeah, these are dangerous.
It goes up to 143 degrees on average, so you can't survive in these. Let's see, in 2001, they were talking about a TV crew who they were also reprimanded because they tried to use the heat to do a barbecue.
Delicious. Sounds good.
You're just not allowed to do those in Yellowstone, and he's in trouble. So he's banned for 2 years, and it's a $1,200 or $1,300 fine for cooking the chickens. Well, that is not being where you're supposed. You weren't staying where you were supposed to be, and you were not supposed to do that.
Are people really still listening to the Riot? You don't have work to do or laundry to fold or literally anything else to do? The Riot, Radio U.
Let me get you a little nerd alert going here. So because I'm at home in the basement for one more show.
He's broadcasting for his final morning home.
One of the issues we've had is, I'm sure you figured it out, that one of the way that Nikki and I are connected is not some shortwave radio frequency. We're just using the internet. And so we have put a lot of work into being absolutely sure that there's nothing hogging the bandwidth. I have spent more time staring at just like network interface, like records. I've got software running that's keeping track of all my network traffic, like what devices are using what amount of data, et cetera, et cetera. Nikki, it makes sense, but I hadn't thought about it. FaceTime calls use a lot of data.
And that's the only way we can see. Obi and I can see each other. So that probably is one of the biggest hogs while we're using this. But we need to see each other. What else should we use?
No, I don't think there's anything, but I'm just going to tell you that in the 2 hours that we've been connected, according to the Unify Network data interface here, we have used 2.67 gig.
Nice.
We're chatting with each other here on FaceTime.
And it's so bad, too, because, at least where I'm at, you might have one closer, but I don't have an outlet that's near where I can then have it still in front. So, our phones get very low battery very early in the day, and they get so hot, and it's so many days of it. But, again, Obi's back on Monday in the studio, so all will be well, and all will be back to normal.
And Nikki's not telling you guys, but I'm going to go ahead and slide it in there. She's only got another week with this phone.
I know. I turn my new phone in next week. Well, it'll probably take me till the week after, because I'll have 14 days. But next week, I'm going to get the new Pro Max, the new iPhone 12, and that should be coming in. Wait, can we all just... Yay. I mean, it's just going to be something really nice. So
it's nice.
It'll come in, and that's good. And then I have to send my old one in because they get it back.
Nikki, do you think that it would be theologically inappropriate for me to talk to God and say, if she's getting a new phone, how come I can't get a graphics card? Does that seem...
Oh, that seems a bit much, doesn't it? Oh, my gosh. It's not like...
Just ask. I'm asking.
She got something nice.
A friend.
Why don't I get anything?
Well, aren't we technically brother and sister? So I'm just saying.
It's like when someone has a birthday, you still feel like you have to get the other person something small just so they don't feel left out. I don't know what to tell you. I can't give you my...
Feeling pretty left out here, Nikki.
I can't give you my old phone because I literally have to turn it back into them. And for the graphics card, I can't go wait in line for one for you, too, because I'm in here. I'm stuck here, too.
I know.
We're stuck in the radio. We can't get out. We just can't go wait in line for stuff.
We're not allowed to leave. But you know what? It's fine. I'm grateful for the opportunities I've been given.
You got the Oculus 2 thing, the new one last week.
That was last week.
You got Dirt.
That was last week.
You got Dirt, the new game today. You're fine. You're getting stuff.
You know what else I got? COVID. It cancels those two things out. So now we're on an even playing field. So now we have got to... You know what's really sad is how much underneath it all, Nikki and I really think like this.
I'm just glad I didn't get it. Thanks for not giving that. Just thank you so much.
It seems unfair that I got something and you didn't, Nikki.
Awful. That is awful.
Seems like maybe
it's not
you need
fair.
a little something.
Yeah, okay. So then because I didn't get anything, I need to get you something.
It's fine. You know what? I'll get COVID-19. You get an iPhone 12. They both have numbers. It's perfect.
Well, yeah, the iPhone 12, the Pro.
And I've got
Max.
a COVID-19. I've got a 19. Mine is 7 models further along than yours. It's so much better.
I can't wait till you're back.
It's so much better.
It's going to be so great when he's back on Monday, isn't it?
This was the worst of the riot, and we'd like to congratulate you on having the stomach to stick around to the very end. The riot exists because RadioU exists, and RadioU only exists because of your support. Find out more and give now at RadioU.com/donate.
I just get excited knowing that these mics are hooked up to something.